It's time now for our health report, and joining us now is Africa 54 health correspondent Lino Madu with some new information on tuberculosis research. Hello, Lino.
Hello, Vincent. The Medicines Patent Pool, a UN-backed public health organization, has teamed up with Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore to facilitate the clinical development of tuberculosis drug candidate Sertolizumab. The World Health Organization says 1.4 million people died of TB in 2015. Tuberculosis is the leading cause of death in people living with HIV, and only 52% of multi-drug resistant TB patients and 28% of extensively drug-resistant TB patients are successfully being treated. Sertolizumab is an oxazolidinone antibiotic, and medical experts say the antibiotics is a promising investigational treatment that could be an answer to more effectively treat both drug-sensitive and drug-resistant TB in patients. Joining me now live via Skype from Geneva, Switzerland, is Chan Park, General Counsel of the Medicines Patent Pool. Mr. Chan, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So tell us more about the new drug Sertolizumab. What are some of the specifics that make it a potential answer to XDR and MDR TB?
Well, Sertolizumab is a drug that has been developed up to what we call phase 2A clinical development. And so we don't know all there is to know about Sertolizumab at the moment. We do need to conduct further clinical investigations in humans to actually know whether it will be safe and effective in humans. But in those early trials, it did show less toxicity, which is a huge problem, particularly for treatment for MDR-TB, and more efficacy than the other drug in its class that Sertolizumab can potentially replace, called linezolid. And so what the Medicines Patent Pool is now doing is seeking interested drug developers, whether they be companies or governments or product development partnerships, to take a license from the Medicines Patent Pool to conduct further clinical trials on this promising drug candidate.
But when we look at the statistics with regards to how many people are being treated effectively, for example, with MDR-TB, it's almost 1 in 2, only 1 in 2. So this is really troubling. For a long time, there hasn't been any new TB drug. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, that's right, and that's a huge problem facing the landscape of TB treatment these days. There have been 2 new drugs that have recently gained approval, but other than that, the drugs that we have available to treat TB are all over 50 years old, and so these are not the most effective treatments possible. And the reason for that is because of the fact that the vast majority of the TB burden lies in the developing world, in low and middle-income countries. So the classical incentive mechanisms that exist for diseases that exist in high-income countries just simply does not exist in TB, and as a result, there is insufficient research and development devoted to TB by the large multinational pharmaceutical companies. And it is our hope that with this license and with increased interest developed from this license, that more attention can be devoted to research and development for TB.
Okay, very quickly, when could we anticipate to see Sertolizumab available?
Well, we are currently in advanced discussions with an entity to take a license to conduct further clinical trials, and it's always difficult to predict how the clinical trials will eventually pan out. But we are looking at a number of years before clinical trials phase 2B and phase 3 clinical trials can be completed.
Okay, thank you, Mr.